Namaste, beautiful. Welcome to my most recent stream of consciousness. So for those who don't know what that means, what I mean is that I am simply saying what comes to my mind with the prompt this time being the true meaning of yoga. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, I believe the second line is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And essentially what this means is that yoga is the practice of taming the mind. And so what he's saying here, okay, maybe I should explain what Patanjali's Yoga Sutras are. So it's kind of like one of the Bibles of yoga. So probably I'm going to reference many of these kind of yoga Bibles in this little stream of consciousness, as they all essentially are saying the same thing, which is the true meaning of yoga. So these sutras are these lessons, these guidelines for how to achieve the ultimate goal of yoga, which is samadhi, which is essentially realizing the self. And by realizing the self, that means realizing and internalizing. So not knowing with the mind, but knowing with the everything that there is divinity within, and there is divinity within all. So Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, in order to achieve this realization, one must tame the mind, which is telling it all of these other things. One of those things, of course, is that there is separation, that there is a me, there is a you, there is a them, there is a other them, there are sides, there is all of this difference. I was reading, I've been reading the Upanishads, and all of these things are very repetitive. And they're kind of just drilling into you this idea of oneness, that we are all one, that there is something that is within, that is the soul, that is the self, that is all the same thing. And that this idea that I am something different than these trees behind me or this microphone attached to me is this illusion of separateness. And the purpose of going on this journey to realize oneness is because the thing that causes suffering is this illusion of separateness. As long as one holds this belief, as long as one is being told by the mind that there is a my side and there is a your side, there is a these people, there is a those people, there will always be chaos. There will always be pain. And the way to alleviate that pain, the way to achieve peace, is to realize the oneness. So how do we do that? through practicing yoga. So yoga has these 8 limbs. And when they go in order, then it's kind of harder, right? We have these principles, we have the way that we are to be behaving in the world, the way that we are to be behaving toward ourselves, we have our asana practice, we have our pranayama practice, these breathing exercises that help us to move prana through the body, and then we have the moving inward of our senses, and then we have the controlling of the senses, and we have this concentration which leads us to meditation, which leads us to samadhi. But the method that I have most resonated with, so these 8 limbs, they're called Ashtanga. This means 8 limbs. And Ashtanga, you may have heard me talk about, is also a style of yoga. And when I learned about this, we learned the primary series, this first series of Ashtanga. So we learned these asanas, these movements that you do in my first 200-hour teacher training. And then in my 300-hour teacher training, we got a little bit of the philosophy behind it. And that was the moment that I fell in love with this style of yoga. Because the idea is that you start with the physical practice and use this series of movements that is designed specifically to be difficult, to be hard, so that you have no choice but to use your mind to get the poses. And when you use your mind to get the poses, then you're connecting your mind and your body. And as you connect your mind and your body, then you're connecting to yourself. You're connecting to your soul. And so as we go through these movements, then we start to realize, we start to see the truth. We start to be free of these lies that the mind is telling us, these lies that we are separate. And as we do that, then we begin to want to be nicer to others, be nicer to ourselves. We begin to think, okay, maybe I'll try these weird pranayamas, these weird breathing exercises. And so we do. And then it helps us as we go into meditation. And then we realize we're almost there. And that is why I love Ashtanga. And that is why I love the physical practice of yoga. That is why I love asana practice. That is why here on this channel, the first thing that I chose to do was share hard practices. Because when you're going through these hard practices, it doesn't need to be Ashtanga. It can be some other kind of difficult physical practice that requires you to use your mind to control your body. And when you are focused on that, then you're connecting to yourself. And as you connect to yourself, then you begin to connect to others. And as you do this, then you begin to open your heart and you begin to love everything. And the more people that do this, the closer we will be able to come to peace. We're not going to achieve peace by choosing a side and by supporting only that side. That's not peace. We're going to achieve peace by doing everything that we can, everything in our power to realize the oneness that there is. To realize that you are me, are they. I am the walrus, I am the Eggman, right? It's no coincidence that the Beatles spent time in Rishikesh, which is the birthplace of yoga. At the root of all emotions, now I'm moving a bit into psychology, there is love and there is fear. That's it. Everything either comes from love or it comes from fear. And I would like to humbly assert my observation that many people believe themselves to be acting from a place of love, but they're actually acting from a place of fear. Choosing love is choosing love. Choosing a side is choosing fear. I choose love. Always. I choose to spend the majority of my time alone so that I am not influenced by the anyone I might come into contact with who is choosing fear. I choose to spend most of my time alone so that I can stay in my heart and I can, when I stay in my heart, feel the oneness without falling into the illusion of separation. Because when I go into public, I start to feel that as I start to absorb and all of the fear of everyone around me. I I do start to then see them as separate from me, even though I know on one level that they're not. But I see these individuals in this 3D world in pain. And I know that pain is always caused by this illusion of separateness. And so I choose to spend my days doing this, being here virtually and sharing everything that I know about loving unconditionally and about realizing the self. So that I can help as many people as possible to also find this realization. I hope to help people do that through the physical practice. I hope to help people do that through this. I hope to help people do that through my other job. I hope to help people do that in everything that I do. And I hope to help people to want to also spread that. I hope that we can create this ripple effect of awakening, of realizing oneness, and then helping another realize oneness, and then helping another realize oneness, and helping another realize oneness. And so it goes until the whole world until the whole world knows deeply that we're all the same on the most important level that there is. And when we realize that we're all the same on the most important level, then our differences on the 3D level don't matter anymore. I can be me, you can be you, they can be them on the 3D level without judgment. People can be free to enjoy their bodies, enjoy the 3D world in whatever way that they choose, without fear, without having to harm others. Ha. So that's oneness. Earlier this morning, I made a video, a class, asana class, that was with the intention of opening the heart and cultivating unconditional love. I will put that up after this tomorrow, I guess. I would love it if you could join me for that practice. I tried to do it so that it's kind of multi-level, so hopefully a little bit more accessible to different people. You can choose how deep or how not to go into the bending of your back and thus the opening of your heart. Or otherwise, I hope that you can just keep in mind throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month, throughout your life, this knowing of oneness and help other people get there too. I think that's all I have to say. If you're still here, I think just by the instance of receiving those words and that energy, that you are contributing to the awakening of the planet, and I appreciate you deeply for it. With so much love. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free. Namaste.